Johnny Silverhand is a lot of things: a war vet, a rock god, an anti-corporate icon, terrorist, maybe, and a ghost in your head. He's one of the most memorable characters in Cyberpunk2077 thanks in no small part to Keanu Reeves' performance and his larger-than-life presence in the story.
You're breathtaking!
But what if I told you Johnny Silverhand isn't just flawed, he's straight up unreliable. Not because he's evil, but because his memory is fragmented, his ego is out of control, and the truth doesn't always serve his narrative. Yo, what's up guys, it's Chris over at Breezy's Gaming Corner, and today we're going to be talking about Johnny Silverhand and the reliability of his backstory. Can you really trust the memories that you see from him in your head? Can you really trust anything he has to say to you at all? We're going to be getting right into that. But first, if you enjoy Cyberpunk related content, be sure to subscribe as I post videos weekly. And if you like this video, be sure to drop a like as it would greatly help out this channel a ton. I really appreciate the support. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start with the obvious. Johnny Silverhand is not alive. He's an engram, a digital copy of a person created by the Soul Killer program, not a one-to-one copy, more like something akin to a simulation, and like all simulations, it has bugs. The relic chip wasn't designed for a smooth integration. Johnny's consciousness is unstable, decaying, looping, and even hijacking V's mind.
Fucking chip. Rip the thing out myself. No, wait!
We see this through the relic's malfunctions and the visions V experiences. Sometimes he's coherent and just in pain, but other times it just completely takes him out.
What the shit? Get ready. Fuck! Johnny! You ain't dying yet. I got you.
And one thing about the engram is it didn't record the actual events that happened in the past. It recorded the events according to the subconscious perspective of Johnny. This means that all the memories of the past that V is shown is all personal bias from Johnny's perspective. It's not accurate to the actual events that transpired. The AI alt says this herself when we enter the Blackwall with the Voodoo Boys.
What you saw was his subjective view of what happened. A warped account of events he locked away in his subconscious and replayed time and again. It bears no resemblance to the truth.
Johnny is also driven by ego and rage. He frames himself as a freedom fighter, the rocker boy who fought the corpse. But dig deeper and you'll see a man driven less by ideals and more by revenge. He dropped a nuke inside a populated skyscraper not for justice, but to hurt the people he blamed for Alt Cunningham's death. He called it a revolution. Rogue called it what it really was, a tantrum. Even in his own flashbacks, Johnny is the center of the universe.
Told you, Johnny boy. Told you I'd end you someday.
He never admits fault, never takes blame. He's always the hero even when he's clearly not. That's textbook unreliable narrator behavior, rewriting the events to protect the ego. Personal biases also do a lot to help cloud his story. One of the clearest signs of this is how he talks about other people. To him, Arasaka is pure evil, no nuance. Everybody connected to them is either a sellout or a villain, but the truth is a little more complex than that. You have characters like Takamura or Hanako, who aren't just cartoon villains, they're multi-layered characters, and while they might not necessarily be the best of people, they are more than just villains, and Johnny just doesn't care. And honestly, same with Alt. He puts her on a pedestal, painting her as this martyr, a genius that he never deserved. But when we meet Alt's construct, she clearly doesn't see things the same way. She even says she doesn't care about him anymore.
Johnny, you cannot remain here.
Brutal. Although it's not like she had much of a choice, to be honest.
I told you, Alt Cunningham is no more. I use her engrammatic data.
And when it comes to V, our player character, we become pretty good friends with Johnny by the end of the game. But even so, Johnny pushes us towards his own agenda, even when it risks our life.
We got no time to lose. Need to get inside Makoshi.
If we don't agree with him, he insults us, gaslights us, or even tries to hijack our body. He's not just unreliable, he's downright manipulative. And speaking of manipulative, let's not forget how when he was supposed to meet Rogue, he had a crazy night out and even got us a tattoo without our consent. It was pretty funny and V was cool with it, but it just goes to show you give him an inch and he takes a mile. And after all of this, if you still trust Johnny's versions of events, you could just go ask the people who actually knew him. If you talk to Rogue, she just straight up calls him selfish and self-destructive. If you go to Carrie, he says Johnny cared more about the image of a revolution rather than the actual fight. And we see that in how he treats his band, his friends, and even Alt Cunningham. Everyone who survived Johnny remembers him a little differently than he remembers himself. That contrast between Johnny's myth and the man he really was, that's deliberate. CD Projekt Red and Mike Pondsmith want you to question his version of the past, and honestly, it does add a lot of intrigue into the story. And if the water wasn't murky enough for you, here's where it gets really murky. V and Johnny's minds begin to merge over time.
Enough, Johnny. I just gotta think about it. Need to stretch your noodle? Fine.
Just
It's not in this basement.
V, Christ, you're talking out loud.
Out loud? What?
What V sees, feels, and hears, we can't always be sure it's purely Johnny. Sometimes it's V projecting, sometimes it's the engram adapting. The lines are always blurred. In some endings, Johnny becomes almost reflective, more human.
Got zero intentions of doing you wrong. We made a deal. I'm sticking to it.
But that's not who he was when we started the game.
I'll take control. I'll find a way. You hear me?
That's who he's becoming, or who V has been making him into. At that point, can we even call him Johnny Silverhand anymore? Or is he just a digital impersonator wearing Johnny's face? And honestly, this is a little off topic, but it does go to show how scummy Arasaka actually is as a corporation, because the Soul Killer program that they used on Johnny, they essentially just repurposed it and they're selling it to the public in the form of the Secure Your Soul program. They're offering the public immortality, but this is far from immortality. It's kind of like a soul prison that you have to pay to get into. All of this perfectly ties back into Cyberpunk2077's core theme. Memory and identity are fragile, untrustworthy, and corruptible. Johnny is a walking metaphor for this, a legendary figure whose myth has eclipsed the truth. His story is attractive because it's easy, black and white, the good guys and the bad guys, the rebels versus the corpse. But real life and real Cyberpunk really isn't that clean. By making Johnny unreliable, CD Projekt Red forces us, the player, to question everything, not just his story, but the nature of truth itself in a world where reality is digital. So the big question is Johnny Silverhand a liar? Well, not exactly, but he's no truth teller either. He's a broken man clinging to a legend, and the legend is definitely smoother than the truth. But that's what makes him so fascinating. He's not just a sidekick, he's a cautionary tale about pride, about memory, and most importantly, about who we choose to become when we're no longer who we once were. What about you guys? How do you guys feel about Johnny's version of events? Let me know in the comments below. I really love reading your guys' theories and ideas. And if you liked this video in any way whatsoever, please be sure to drop a like as it helps this channel grow a ton. And if you're into Cyberpunk or Cyberpunk related content, consider subscribing because I do post videos weekly and shorts daily. And with that being said, I hope you guys take great care of yourselves and peace.